Check us out on Patreon, guys, where we give you our exclusive access to all of our videos, 186 videos and counting. We just updated it. That's why I know how many videos is on there.
Bangers too, though. Bangers. You know, nothing too shabby. I mean, I don't know, like a Led Zeppelin marathon. We got Metallica on there, some Megadeth stuff. You know, I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there, man. So if you're interested, definitely check that out, guys. The link for that will be in the description.
What's up, guys? Your boys are back. I'm Ryan, my man George.
What's saying, guys? How you living out there, man? Shout out to the Free Thinkers, of course.
All right, man. So Pearl Jam, man. We've done a couple songs from them too. I think it was. We did Black.
Yes.
Which I think I was kind of like on the fence with that one. Yep. I got to go back and listen to that. I don't really remember it, which is not a good sign. But Alive, I know I liked a lot.
Alive was really good.
I know I liked that a lot.
And I like Black, but we did have some criticism on certain aspects. At least I did, from what I remember, on certain aspects of the song. But after listening to it a little bit more, like I grew to like that more. So yeah, I get it though, Ryan. From what I remember, I don't remember Ryan's reaction. I think Ryan was on the fence. I think I was a little critical, but I still enjoyed the song overall. But yeah, as I've listened to it, I enjoyed that song. So kind of get you guys clarification. But we definitely both really enjoyed Alive.
But before we get into the video, man, shout out to Gummy Shots, man. These little things, boy, I tell you, man, they have just made it possible for me to be up and make these videos at a high level without the crash. And it's quick. That's key. Quick and simple.
Yeah.
I just eat these damn bad boys. I'm gonna say
one right now.
Now, I'm not saying that they're like gummy bears and shit like that. That shit is super, super sugary. But I will say that it's just quick and it tastes pretty good, man. They got all these different flavors. I think this was an orange or something, Valencia orange. But dude, man, shout out to them, man. Drinking energy drinks is just it's just too much for me. So this is really really good for me.
And if you guys are interested, you can get 20% off if you use our code, which is, I believe, LIV20, and that will be in the description below.
Now, getting into the song, man, Jeremy is the name of the song we're gonna do today, and I know we've heard this in passing. This is 133 million views on YouTube. I can assure you that I've heard this in passing. It's just too big of a song.
We've heard it, and I believe we may have even mentioned that we've heard it on Patreon or something like that. But my question is there a statute of limitations on like what we can still consider a reaction if we haven't heard the song in like fucking 15 years?
Or we're listening to the song the way we're going to listen to it now with the lyrics in front of us and really kind of digest the song. We've never done that. You know, this is still going to be a reaction to a certain extent.
We'll just put reaction/review in the title for you guys. How about that? So let's revisit this one with like fresh ears, fresh Lost in Vegas ears. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been a while since we've heard it.
Sir.
So let's get into it. Pearl Jam, Jeremy.
Yep, very familiar. When he got into the chorus here where Jeremy spoke in class today, I've heard that before. I didn't know that's what he was saying because that's very hard for me to make out because like, hear me roar.
It's got that yard.
I don't know what, if I didn't have the lyrics in front of me, I would have never guessed that.
You'd be like, what?
Never guessed that. So you said, George, before we started this, man, that this is very controversial. So I was kind of looking at what this description of the song is, and it says it's based on two different true stories. It's one about a 16-year-old boy named Jeremy from Richardson, Texas, who killed himself in his English classroom in front of the teachers and the teacher, and classmates. And then the other one, the other story is about, I guess, a student from a high school that Vetter went to in San Diego. So with that being said, man, new perspective on the song, man. I'm looking at the pre-chorus here. It says, Daddy didn't give attention. In fact, that mommy didn't care, you know? So maybe he's kind of going into the mind of this kid that kind of committed suicide. And maybe this could have been prevented, maybe if the home life was a little bit more stronger. And maybe if the parents were maybe a little bit more involved, you know, and just maybe, man, this could have prevented that tragedy from happening if we could know the backstory, you know.
The entire time I'm listening to this, when we've been listening to this, I've been thinking about why this was such a monster of an album. And I know that everybody in the comments is gonna be like, well, I'll tell you why, because this is. We have a lot of people that, you know, a lot of historians in the rock and metal sphere on this channel that really give us good insight as to why things were the way they were. This is probably unprecedented at this time in 91, right? This was probably unprecedented. And I know during the 90s, the late 80s and 90s, it's not like school shootings started in the 80s and 90s, but I know that there was a pretty
increase, uptick.
There was an uptick in school shootings around this time as well. I think Columbine was like late 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So we started to see an increase in this.
Yeah.
So I think Pearl Jam covering this type of subject matter in the way they covered it, and the fact that this grunge movement was coming along as well, right? Grunge was taking over the sort of hair metal scene, and they were getting back to basics and the fundamentals of just rawness, you know? And then in addition to that, this is just, the thing about Alive and this is that they have such an anthemic acoustic sound.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to Pearl Jam, and I'm going to say, even in comparison to Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam to me is a picnic fucking blanket on a grass hill at a festival like Coachella or some shit.
Yeah, they are though.
They're like that. It's just so anthemic to me, but not in the traditional way. Not like, living on a prayer. Not like that. But like in a soft, acoustic, large audience, large festival like Coachella-like performance. So I think that sound is a big piece of it as well. So it's just me, based off of my limited understanding and knowledge of the history of rock and metal, trying to kind of put it together on why this was such a monster song or a monster time for them, album rather. So, but I just appreciate that about them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I hear you.
The fact that they tackled like subject matter at this time that nobody tackled. The fact that their music has this acoustic, anthemic, grand feel. And Eddie Vedder's voice, he was to me, he was the prototype, right? A lot of people cover, we're talking about it in the Black video, the whole Jarl, Jarl thing. But a lot of people took that and ate a lot, off of that style of singing.
Yeah,
so
we about to get into the Hated Bands marathon, and I know where you're going with that.
Good plug. For those of you who are on Patreon, we're very excited about getting into the Hated Bands marathon. So, all right, man. But let's get back to it, though, man. I just like the way this sounds, man. You know, the subject matter is very heavy, but outside of that, I just appreciate the sound.
A harmless little fuck. But we unleashed the lion. Gnashed his teeth and bit the recessed lady's breast. How could I forget? And he hit me with the surprise left. My jaw left hurting. Ooh, dropped wide open. Just like the day. Oh, like the day I and the boy was something that mommy wouldn't wear. King Jeremy, the wicked, ruled his world. Jeremy spoken yesterday.
This rocks though, man.
It's a good song.
This rocks. One more song. Really quick. I was saying to George, and I don't know if you guys heard us, this just rocks though too. And that is very uncommon for me, and maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment, but to my recollection, I don't remember a lot of songs that's dedicated to something that happened, a true life story or something tragic, that I could just rock to though, that I can really just play, even though it has serious meaning behind it. I've heard a lot of songs dedicated to like serious, horrible, negative things that's happened in life, but it really isn't a song that I can kind of revisit and play at a party. It's just more so a beautiful song, and I can appreciate it, but I just can't. It doesn't have a whole lot of replay value because it's just sad and it's a heavy subject matter. But this is a sad, heavy subject matter that fucking rocks though.
Yep.
That I can see myself replaying a lot. So I just wanted to make that point.
One thing I do want to clear up is that I know this isn't necessarily acoustic, but it has a mellowed out feel like an acoustic performance would have. In comparison to like these Motley Crue or like Bon Jovi, you know, these anthems. Like this is an anthem, but it's just very, very mellow, like in its delivery. So very interesting, man. All right, let's get back to it. Yep. Yeah, I just really enjoyed this era. I just really enjoyed this era, man. You know, maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's a bias there because of just, you know, I kind of grew up. You know, even though I wasn't like heavily into rock, I just remember. I remember this sound and this feeling of what was going on around this time, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed that song. It's interesting. The subject matter is actually very heavy, and you know, and it's dealing with a tragedy or tragedies, right? It's inspired by tragedies. But I felt so good listening to this.
Yeah,
I felt so good listening to it, and I just think that was and this is what you were kind of saying earlier, Ryan. That was like a big part of their magic. When I think about Alice in Chains, and a lot of people say, and it does boggle me and Ryan's mind, though, that Alice in Chains, I mean, they were successful, but a lot of people say they didn't really truly get their credit when they were at this time. It was about Nirvana, it was about Pearl Jam, it was about, you know, Soundgarden, but Alice in Chains was probably out of the four, probably not as, you know, recognized, right? And I get it, though. Because, you know, when I listen to certain songs by Alice in Chains, the shit is dark. It's nasty.
Man.
It is dark. But I feel like Pearl Jam is just just freeing. When I listen to them, their music sounds so freeing.
Yeah.
And it has a warmth about it, and it has sort of an anthemic, just a good. Even when he started singing this, it's funny. Like the first verse, and he said, "At home, drawing pictures of mountaintops with him on top, lemon yellow sun." I was like, "Yeah, exactly, the lemon yellow sun, right?" And then he said, "In dead lay in pools of maroon below." I was like, "Oh, okay," because when I was listening to the song, I was just like, "Yeah, I'm picturing being on a grassy mountaintop, basking in the sun
With a picnic basket.
with a picnic basket, right? You know what I mean? Or watching them from the top of the mountain, you know, chilling, you know. But that's the feeling that their music gives me. It's such a warm, freeing feeling in how he's singing. And really, I want to shout out Eddie Vedder vocally, man. I love the way his voice sounded in this one and Alive. Specifically when he said, "Daddy didn't give affection," right? The way he said, "Daddy didn't give affection." These points in times, moments in the song,
hard.
when he hits these notes really hard, but then
boy.
he settles into this smooth, this laid, subdued, mellowed out groove, man, and his voice just flows very well over it, man. He's just got a good tone, obviously, as well, a very, very historically famous tone that people tried to copy. And the musicianship was great in this as well, man. Just very, very nice, very freeing sounding song that just feels like, you know, a mellowed out anthem to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, great song. That's definitely playlist. So shout out to Pearl Jam, man. We gotta really dig into some of these other bands. I know that Alice in Chains just kind of beasted a little bit, you know, but I want to dig more into some of Pearl Jam's work, man, and Nirvana as well. We want to get back to Nirvana.
Play Mickey Ficky List, man. This shit was hard. I love this song, man. And that is so uncommon. Again, I might be a prisoner of the moment, but it's so uncommon for me to hear a song about this kind of subject matter that I can kind of replay and just jam out to. So you touched on this a little bit in your closing statements here, George, about it being a perfect fit, you know, and I believe that they nailed it when it comes to riding that balance between heavy subject matter, but still make it enjoyable and playable and musical enough that people will revisit the song. But the way Eddie Vedder is able to construct melody in the way he sings, even in the verses, the pre-chorus and the chorus. You just either have that shit or you don't. But I do want to touch one more thing, man. In the lyrics here, when in the verse 2, when he said, "I remember picking on a boy, and it was harmless at the time. It seemed harmless, but I unleashed a lion." We don't understand the damage that we're doing to the other person. Everything has a root cause, you know? And when he said that, "I remember picking on this boy and I seemed harmless, but I unleashed a lion," I created a fucking beast out of just what I thought was harmless. They destroyed this song. I don't know if this is highly accepted, and as far as a song that's a great song or whatever the case may be, but dude, this is playlist
to a lot of people. It's a lot of people, you know what I mean? It's 133 million views on this, so a lot of people think it's great, clearly, right? It's a great message that I think was needed, you know what I mean? And I hope that even now, still, like you said, you mentioned cyberbullying, and that's a whole nother bag of you know, that's a whole nother Pandora's box that we're in the embryonic stages of even trying to get that under control, in my opinion. Just the internet and how that has an effect on children. So I think it's a conversation that we're gonna have to keep having, and it's evolving in different ways. So I think this is a very, very important song, and again, playing into them selling 13 million records. I get it, and I know a lot of kids at this time related to this and being bullied and being picked on, and maybe had suicidal thoughts. So this was a monumental song, whether you like it or not. This was a big, big, big important record, I feel. You know what I mean, at the time, and even now, man, I think it still sounds really, really good, man. So I think it's stood the test of time, even though some of y'all be like, "Man, this shit's still modern." No, it's old school, bro. All right, man. Salute to Pearl Jam, man. Playlist for both of us, man. For real, seriously. Let's get more suggestions for Pearl Jam in the comments, man. And that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed that, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And also, guys, check out our Patreon channel if you're interested. We got the Hit It Marathon coming on Patreon, just so you know, if you're interested in that. The link for that will be in the description. I'm George. That's Ryan. Lost in Vegas.
We out.